I want to thank several people for showing up today. We have El Centro here. If you're with these groups, you can clap. This is great, El Centro. We're our APS newcomers. I know the APS newcomers are here, like proper students are raising their hands. Mohammed Ismail is here. He is the chair of our IRA steering committee. Mohammed, you're somewhere hiding? There you are, Mohammed. We want to thank our friends from the Mexican consulate for being here. Encuentro, New Mexico. Encuentro, all right. Catholic Charities showed up to support us. Enlace is here. A big round of applause for Senator Ortiz y Pino. I think Jerry's hiding around the corner here. And then we have Desiree Shorter from Ben Ray Lujan's office, and then other folks that Mayor will introduce here coming up. And this is a big day for us, and we want to thank you all for coming. If you want to come on up, and we can start the program.
Okay. All right, well, good morning. Buenos dias, everyone. This is a couple of things just logistically before we start. We have a lot of people whose voices need to be heard. So we are going to dedicate a little time to this. This is kind of more a heads up to the media that this is going to be a little different than our normal sort of 20 or 30-minute affair, but I think 45-ish minutes we should be okay. We also have some actual government action to take, which is, of course, the signing of an executive order, which is why we're here. So what we're going to do is hear from the voices in our community, and then we'll just shift rooms and we'll sign our documentation that makes this the sort of the rules of the game or the rules of the city from an executive order standpoint. So that's what we're going to do here today. Okay, now I want to begin, I think, by just as a high-level introduction before we get to our speakers, that I think back a little bit about what we saw. It was now almost 8 years ago when we had a presidential policy that was separating women, moms, and children at the border. And we had the same president who was driving this policy, and we had an American rejection of that policy. And in many ways, it started in a couple of cities, but it also started in Albuquerque, New Mexico, when we as a city stood up against that in numerous ways, including which ended up leading to our immigrant-friendly ordinance. And it also meant originally an executive order on my behalf, standing up against that and also standing up for reuniting families. I tell that story because I also want to emphasize this. Every time during that era, people would come up to me and they would say, I don't agree with your politics or your partisanship and all that kind of stuff. But in Albuquerque, at least, and I think in New Mexico, they agreed that that was the right thing to do. And I think these times are very, very similar. We have obviously the same president. We have similar but different policies because they're now happening all over our city instead of at the border. Whether it is ICE agents popping out of vans wearing masks, rounding up people who are not even immigrants, who are Native Americans, who are legally here in the city, all over, whether it's McDonald's or it's Walmart. This has nothing to do with immigration policy. This is more like terror. That's what that is. It is wrong in terms of policy, no matter how you look at it. It is not effective in any way, no matter what you believe. And number two, it's wrong morally. And that's why we are reaffirming and going further today to make sure that Albuquerque represents all our families, especially in this time, our immigrant families. It's also a statement that this community will not be intimidated. We've seen this show before, and we have done the same thing, which has said that we are going to stand up for our families and we're going to do it together. And I believe the vast majority of our city agrees with that also. And so we're not going to be intimidated. We are going to stand up against any harmful federal proposal that targets immigrant families, period. That is what we're going to do. Now, this executive order is much more than an executive order. We took time to listen to folks who work in this space each and every day, to our other elected officials, and it is much more a statement of values, but it also is a statement of policy that we will not be complicit in anything that violates civil rights or that destabilizes our community. Thank you. This also means that being an immigrant-friendly is who we are, an immigrant-friendly city. And I think that's important to reiterate because people, and we always have to say this, and it's terrible we have to say this, but immigrants are part of our cultural fabric. They're essential to our economy. We know we have about 20,000 immigrants in our city, 20,000. We know that in total in New Mexico, that's worth about $5.6 billion in economic activity. And we know that 16% of our small businesses are run by immigrants. And we also know our own family stories and how immigrants are part of our own families, mine being no exception. And so for us, this is who we are as a city. We are welcoming, we stand with our families, and we say there is no room for things like terror and things like we're seeing on the streets all across America. So I have consistently stood for these policies. I also want to mention that the other thing I always hear is that, people will disagree with this and that. This, and some of us have been in this. I know Senator Ortiz-Pino is here, former senator. I know counselors. We're going to talk about them in a minute. Many of us have been standing up for immigrant rights for our whole professional career. That is not me. That's most of the other folks up here. But that's right. So I want to thank everyone. You have been through ups and downs in every way. And even though these are tough times, you have been making our city what it is, this great welcoming place that supports immigrants for decades and decades. And I know that I'm grateful actually to have worked with you now for 17 years, going back to the driver's license fight, in a way that has said, all I will do is make sure that I am there to support you. And I think that is what today is also all about. So let me close my opening remarks with this. In this executive order, I'll walk through some of the specifics, but here's pieces that are in there. Our OIRA team, which is our Office of Immigrant Refugee Affairs, Beatriz is here. I know she's typically in the back. She deserves a big round of applause. She is going to continue her work with the steering committee. She is going to be required, but she's doing it already, to do all our immigrant education and all our red card work that we've done with hundreds of businesses around the city. We're also going to have a child well-being team that is creating trauma-informed protocols to support kids. And we're doing this with APS. Hata Sandoval, I think, is also hiding in the back. She's our child well-being officer. She's going to be quarterbacking that. See her after on this. We are going to defend against impersonators and fraud. This is another issue, people pretending to be ICE. So we are going to use the full force of the law and our police department to go after them for impersonating officers. We are also going to make sure that these calls to ICE cannot be used as a weapon against like a coworker you're mad at for whatever reason. We're also seeing this in our community. And we're going to make sure that we are doing everything we can with respect to transparency, of course, and people identifying themselves as ICE officers in the appropriate way. And so we'll talk more about that in a little bit. And of course, we want to make sure that we're supporting Congress to hopefully pass the Visible Act and hold ICE accountable at the federal level for their unjust enforcement of these practices nationwide. So lastly for me, we know, number one, I always have to remind people of this because no one here forgets this, but we are safer as a community when people feel safe to engage in community and engage with our police department. This is the fundamental basis of the connection between public safety and our immigrant-friendly policy, which is that no one should be afraid to call the police. No one. Doesn't matter anything in your background or anything in your documentation. We need, whether it's a woman experiencing domestic violence or whether it's somebody who's having an issue with narcotics, they have to be able to call the police. As people, as humans, we know we have to be able to do that when we need help. We have to be able to trust help and not worry about all these other things that may or may not happen to us or our neighbors or our community if we do that. So number one, this is about public safety. We are safer if these things are not happening in our community, and we are safer if the city has no part in it in any way, and that includes our police department, our fire department, our community safety department. The second thing is, this is a moral issue. Families are stronger together, and our community is stronger with families intact, and that is also what we stand up for again today. So I know we have so many folks who I am just so grateful for who believe in this. And they also have, whether it's their own personal story or their own story, championing and fighting for these issues in government. And so I'm grateful that we have a whole host of counselors who are here that believe in everything that we're doing today, and they have for a long time. And so I want to turn it over to our city councilors. We didn't really do like an order, so does anyone want to go first? All right, Councilor Baca.
Thank you, Mayor Keller. I just want to start by saying I am furious. Not just as a city councilor, but as a human being, as a son of an immigrant, somebody who just lives in Albuquerque. What's happening in our communities, people are feeling unsafe, they're afraid to shop, to drive, to go to church, or even let their kids out. And so while Trump is terrorizing our neighborhoods, I refuse to allow this to become the new normal. It's not normal, and it's not right. And it's important for us who are normal to act up, or to stand up. So that's why it's important for our immigrant community to see us standing together today. In Albuquerque, our mayor, our city councilors, our county commissioners, thank you, Commissioner Baca, and our state legislatures, thank you, Mr. Speaker. We're using every tool we have to fight back and make sure your civil rights are protected and your families stay together and your safety comes first. The mayor's executive order is an important first step, but we know lasting change requires more. As a city councilor, I'm working with my colleagues to put together thoughtful, enforceable legislation that we'll introduce when council returns in August. Our goal is to ensure that everyone feels safe in their own neighborhoods, that our local resources aren't weaponized for political purposes, and that Albuquerque continues to lead with fairness, accountability, and trust. We are committed to protecting the dignity and rights of everyone who call this city home. Thank you.
There's a stool here for short people. Thank you all for being here. I just want to echo some of the comments before and just really talk about the strength in this room. You can't see it, but we have local advocates, we have elected leaders, we have community members, we have interns from high school who are my interns who are extremely concerned about what they're seeing in their community. And I want to make this is not a time to sit back. This is time for all of us to roll up our sleeves. We've been here before. We know how to do it. We're not afraid, and we're not going to back down. And I want everyone watching to know that we are here for you. We are 10 toes down standing here to make sure that you know that you're protected, that you can call when you need help. That's my biggest fear is people don't understand when these things happen in our community, people don't call 911 for help when they need it. Me as a woman of color, I've had that situation where I've been afraid to call, and I'm a citizen, right? And what Mayor said about people getting swept up, we have citizens who are legal citizens that are getting swept up. We have Native Americans, this is their land getting swept up and want to be taken back to their reservations or their pueblos. It's not okay. We're not going to allow it. We're standing here firm to say this: you cannot be here with masks on your face, period. You can't be here in our neighborhoods, in our communities, driving fear. We are not going to take it. We're not going to stand for it. And we are going to fight back. And so thank you to everybody who's here to have that fight, regardless of how we all feel and all of the politics surrounding this. This is about protecting people who live in our community, regardless of their status, period. So I don't know what else to say other than we're fighting, period.
Okay. Thank you. Just want to acknowledge we really also appreciate we know we have a lot of speakers, so some of the counselors, their voices are with us. And so Councilor Pena, we appreciate you being here very much. Councilor Feeblecorn, and of course, Commissioner Baca. Great to have the county here. We'll have more on that. Okay, so now I want to turn it over to just someone that I think our city and our community is extremely lucky to have. As long as I've known her, fighting for everything that we have talked about today and doing it in a way that is both meaningful and also powerful. And she is someone who I know that I trust, and I think our community trusts, to guide us through any difficult time. And she's done it dozens and dozens of times and is now here with us today. Please bring up El Centro's Rachel Lazar. Now talk. Okay, well, it's, shouldn't have read those notes. Okay, come on up. Well, but Rachel deserves the applause. Anyway. Okay, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I would be okay with Rachel being here too. Hi, everybody. Good morning. My name is Fabiola Landeros. I'm with El Centro Igualdad de Derechos, an immigrant workers' rights justice organization in Albuquerque with over 6,000 members. Some of them are here with us today, the majority of whom are low-wage immigrant workers. I myself found El Centro when my brother was deported, and so I, like many of our members, understand that the devastating impact of the deportation has on a family and the chilling, rippling impact that it has on our communities. We are proud that we have the legacy in Albuquerque of passing immigrant integration policies which are conducive to public safety, upholding civil rights, economic development, and keeping families together. Our legacy is 25 years strong. Over the years, we have defended and expand local protections in Albuquerque, Bernalillo County, APS, and the state level. Most recently, support the passage of legislation of safeguard sensitive information at the state level. Many of our champions are in the room. Yes. Many of our champions are in the room now, and we would like to thank them and thank the Keller administration, including the Office of Equity and Inclusion, the Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs, and others for working with us mano a mano to strengthen protections over the past decades. Mayor Keller, you have been unwavering in your support of immigrant-friendly during your tenure as mayor, even when it's not easy, and we are grateful. In New Mexico, we recognize that immigrants are our neighbors, the business owner down the block, the friends our kids play with at school, and the people we pray with at Mass. Most Burqueños know someone who's undocumented and come from a mixed status family, so this issue hits close to me and to home. The current administration's terrifying vision of mass deportation is creating fear, chaos, and suffering in its wake. Is not only impact individuals, families, but public safety, public health, our education system, and the economy. And this is just the start. At a time when New Mexicans are struggling to pay their rent and put food on the table, the federal government is cutting hundreds of billions of dollars from Medicaid, kicking millions of people of their health care, and instead is investing millions of dollars to separate families and destroy our economy. 1 in 8 immigrant workers is an immigrant. 16% of small business owners are immigrants. We pay over $1.4 billion on local, state, and federal taxes. As humans beings, our worth is more than our economy output. But targeting the very worker, taxpayers, and consumers that help keep our economy afloat is not only inhumane, but bad economy policy. You cannot deport millions of workers and not have the price of food, construction, hospitality, gas and childcare, and hope healthcare go up. We have seen an uptick of ICE operations in Albuquerque and across the country, often conducted by plainclothes, masked agents in unmarked cars. ICE is going after our gente and surveilling people at their homes, targeting people at work or when they are going to grocery stores. ICE is disappearing people and trampling on due process and constitutional rights. Imagine feeling afraid every time you left your home that you will be disappeared, separated from your children, that nobody will know where you were, or that you could be held in detention center in a country you're not from. This is against our collective values. Today's executive order demonstrates that holding the line is not enough. We must all roll up our sleeves and work tirelessly to protect fellow Burqueños and New Mexicans, elected officials, immigrant worker-based organizations, faith institutions, civil rights and liberty advocates, small business leaders, domestic violence and sexual assault organizations, educators, and Burqueños of conscience. El Centro is in this for the long run. In the upcoming weeks, months, and the years, we will continue to organize for the justice for all New Mexicans and to ensure the Albuquerqueños have the opportunity to thrive. We are one Albuquerque, and we're not alone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fabiola. And now we have, I think in many ways, two individuals, they have their own story, and it's a powerful story. But we're also fortunate in Albuquerque to have them as our own elected officials. And thinking about what it means to have Javier Martinez as our Speaker of the House is in and of itself a powerful statement of New Mexico, but also of him as a person. And so I want to bring up our Speaker of the House, Javier Martinez.
Thank you, Mayor. Can we collectively say, take off the mask? Yes. Take off the damn mask. Yes. What are they afraid of? On Amazon, you can get this jacket. It says Eyes Border Patrol for $30. You can get the hat for another 15. That's how easy it is to become one of these imposter thugs that are going around our community terrorizing our families. It's not okay. As Mayor said, I've got my own immigrant story. I'm not just an ally, I'm not just a champion. Myself and my colleague, Senator Nava, both have an immigration story. A little different in some ways, but also very similar. It is a story of people who left everything they knew to make a better life. It's the story of these women up here in the front. And as I see this little girl right in front of me, it's you all leaving everything you know behind to give her a better life, so that she could be Speaker of the House one day, so that she could be governor one day. Yet, every 10 years or so, we see the same movie repeat itself. I've been in this immigrant rights movement for my entire professional career, which started in 1999, 2000. And we've seen this act before. We had Susana Martinez, governor, who was MAGA before MAGA, who won an election by demonizing our immigrant brothers and sisters. We've had it in 2007, 2008, in 14, in 16, and now we're having it again. My message to the state of New Mexico as the Speaker of the House of the state of New Mexico is to stay the course. My message to all of us, to all of our neighbors, is to protect our neighbors, to hug our neighbors, to acknowledge the existence of our neighbors. It's the good work that the mayor and the council are doing here in our hometown to protect our immigrant communities through this executive order. And keep in mind, this isn't happening just right now. This guy's been doing it since 2017. The two offices you hear about today, OIRA and the Office of Equity, those came because of his work with his council. Unwavering support for our immigrant communities is what we all need to strive for and what we all need to try and do and be. The state of New Mexico, through the hard work of Senator Nava and several others, appropriated $10 million in this year's budget that kicked off 3 weeks ago to help support immigrant communities, to help provide legal services, to help provide trauma-informed support for our students, many of whom stopped showing up to school last semester. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Next year, we're going to shut down immigrant detention centers in New Mexico. New Mexico does not have to be in the business of imprisoning people without due process for profit. The House has passed that bill before. We're going to pass it again, and we're going to get it through the finish line in the Senate. I promise you that. Mayor, council, thank you guys for your work. In many ways, the legislature, sometimes our hands are tied behind our back. We meet for 60 or 30 days, and then we're out. At this point, we're just regular citizens. The fact that our city, the fact that our county, the fact that they're stepping up gives me a great deal of hope. Last thing, take off the mask. Take off the mask. Our police officers can't wear masks, and they've got to turn on their lapel camera. If it's safe enough for them, it's safe enough for those agents that are being deployed by Trump. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. And looking at the other chamber, I think we also are so fortunate to have a powerful American story. And I want to emphasize that. We all talk. If you poll anyone, do you love the American dream? Do you believe in the American dream? We can all criticize how real that is or how not real it is. And that's part of what we're doing today. But the point is, it is fundamentally who we are. And I think that is also absolutely part of her story and also part of New Mexico's story, because as our first Dreamer, New Mexico Senator Cindy Nava is here with us as well.
Sorry, Grandma. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having us here, Mayor. This is personal, okay? It's very personal. Y gracias a todos ustedes que están aquí por su lucha continua, su trabajo, y por la fortaleza y tener las agallas de estar aquí, porque yo sé que el miedo vive dentro de nosotros. As the daughter of a construction worker and of a lady who cleans houses for a living, and now sitting in the state senate, things are surreal. But what we're living right now is a time that is critically important as humans who have a foundation of respect for one another. And I would like to believe that we can do that in the state of New Mexico. I know we're blessed to be in this state. We're in a much better location when we think about everything happening nationally. But when we think of the folks that are being targeted, you're talking about my family. You're talking about our neighbors. I've been undocumented. You don't have to tell me what the feeling is like. And sitting in a chamber where I have the ability to share that story, a story that belongs to so many of you, like it belongs to my parents, I just want to tell you how grateful I feel to have allies like everyone standing here today. Allies who are unwavering and who are not just doing it for political gain. I met Mayor Keller when I was 18, interning at the legislature. And I respect people with unwavering commitment who walk the talk. I respect people who are going to stand for folks who don't have that mic and the privilege and access to stand before you. Because guess what? The people who are really being affected are not in front of your cameras. And I think it's important to have humanity at place. And we are here just to reiterate that commitment. And on my behalf, representing Senate District 9, I believe that strategic action is important. I believe that collaborative efforts matter. I believe that all of you who have the power of sitting in an elected seat have the responsibility to serve your communities. And whether folks want to admit it or not, undocumented communities live throughout the entire state, throughout the entire nation. The majority of them won't stand up and be loud because they're afraid. But our commitment to serve our communities should be cohesive. And I could not be prouder to be in the state of New Mexico, who comes from these families who don't ever have a mic, and to speak to you from the heart, como inmigrante, como former DACA recipient, who never thought I would get to this place. I'm committed, and I believe that with respect, collaborative action, and walking that talk, we have to continue standing for our communities who are the livelihood of this state. Muchas gracias. Y esperemos que podamos continuar trabajando juntos para defender a nuestras comunidades juntos. Gracias.
Thank you so much, Senator, and all our speakers, also for your own, your personal courage and your public courage. Thank you to everyone who's here today. And we're going to transition by hearing just a little bit about how this is going to work, some of the details, because there are a lot, which is actually a great thing in this case. And as our speaker mentioned, we still have an Office of Equity and Inclusion, and we're proud of it, by the way. And that's right. And of course, part of what it does is coordinate our Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs. So I want to bring up the Director of Equity and Inclusion, Sonia Lara. Sonia?
Good morning. Just want to reiterate some things that we've already heard. First of all, the Office of Equity and Inclusion has been here for years doing this great work. This office, it took action in 2017 and has been charged with making sure that everyone's paid fairly, we're treated fairly, that our community is heard and supported. And we've built economic pipelines, we've expanded capacity year over year. We've continued to lean into Albuquerque priorities, even if they aren't currently popular or even convenient. So we're talking about equity, we're talking about environmental justice, sustainability, work that was actually recently recognized by the National Civic League and included rooted in our unwavering focus now, centering immigrant and refugee communities through language access, through community engagement, and through workforce development. So OEI's Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs has long been a model and a beacon in our current political environment. We routinely field requests from city leaders across the country on how to tackle societal woes such as hate, xenophobia, polarization, and other tactics used to erode the social cohesion we've built here, the culture we've built here, the connectedness with our neighbors. And so for years, we've helped people learn their rights. We've implemented legislation like the Immigrant-Friendly City Resolution, and that affirms that Albuquerque, again, is a safe place for immigrants. And we're proud of that reputation. So as a city that doesn't tolerate hate, we don't tolerate discrimination, bullying, harassment, we're committed to that. And today we're here with a blend of both hope and heaviness, if we're being honest. We're in deep gratitude and reverence of this moment in response to Mayor's call now to do more than ever. We don't, again, love to be here. We don't love that we are now in this situation because of the way it impacts and harms so many. But we also are tenacious and we'll continue to dive in. And we love the support from our council, from our state legislators and lawmakers, and all the supports that we have now as evidence from the community members here in this room, in this overflowing room. So this executive order empowers our team to make sure that our values as a city of Albuquerque are upheld. That means that we won't tolerate raids, detentions, or information sharing where we're not required to. It's been our practice since 2017, and we aren't shifting that practice now, okay? So that means if you have a story about your immigrant experience, let us know because we want to hear it. That has value. Your story, your experience has value, and we will continue to validate that. If you have fears over your status, we want to hear about them too. If you have a nonprofit or community group that you go to for support, we want to help elevate that resource. We want to make sure that you know your rights. We want to help. And so we're also going to go further with new ideas like making sure our youth have access to trauma resources, as Mayor mentioned. We're going to keep tabs on federal officers. We're convening all of our city departments to ensure each has a liaison to support and make transparent the work that we're doing around fulfilling the immigrant resolution. We're making sure that those who have worked hard to be in this hometown of Albuquerque continue to have pride when they call this their hometown. So we, along with our partners, are here to support the full execution and implementation of this order. The mayor, the city of Albuquerque, our city council, the Office of Equity and Inclusion, we are here to fully accept this executive order and we'll work diligently to rise to that call. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Sonia. And now what we're going to do is just take a moment to transition into the other room so we can actually sign this executive order. And so what we'd love is for folks who want to be in the picture, you'll want to gather like on the other side, on that side of the conference room, cameras. You'll be on this side of the conference room. There is food and drink, so also feel free to just enjoy yourself. Okay, we'll reconvene in a few minutes.
We're signing it here.
Okay, all right. So let's see what we're going to do. One, look, there's a tradition of signing stuff in government. So just as a government dork for a minute. And the tradition is you have these signing pens, and everyone who helps support can have a pen. I know it sounds silly, but I have pens from speakers and governors and, maybe a former mayor. Anyway, so these are very cheap. They really don't work at all. But they look good for one day. So anyway, so that's why I'll try and hand them. And you can just, if you want one, keep it. If not, pass it on. Now, this executive order, it is way too long to read. And I mean that, I say that also because I think it is an exceptional statement of values and of what at least a city government or a city executive branch can do. And obviously there are some things we can't do. And thank goodness we have, whether it's the state legislature or city council, who can even do more. And but this is what we can do. This is a combination of best practices from around the country. A lot of people ask me about Boston or other different cities, and we have incorporated all of that in here. And we've also gone much further. And I believe we are by far and away the only city whose police department actually will work with the community and identify when something is ICE and when it is not. And I know we announced that last week, but I just want to emphasize, to our knowledge, there isn't another police department in the country who's doing that. And so I do want to thank APD and Chief Medina for also standing with everyone here today, and of course, working with us to make it happen. Okay, now what I am going to do is at least read, I think, the opening paragraph. And it goes like this. Albuquerque has long stood as a city of refuge and resilience, rooted in the values of justice and of compassion and of community. We recognize the humanity of all Albuquerque residents, whether their citizenship status is of an immigrant, an asylum seeker, or refugee, U.S. born or naturalized. They have all built and contributed to our city, to its diversity, to its strength, and to its shared purpose. And in the face of federal actions and proposals that undermine the human rights and the respect, and that sow fear and destabilization among our families, and damage our economy, and threaten our public safety, the city of Albuquerque reaffirms its moral and legal and policy duty to uphold civil rights, public safety, and to serve all residents with dignity. Okay, so what's today's date? I know it's July. We're still in July, right? 21st. All right, there you go. So you can just take one and pass it back. Yeah, there you go. Backwards on here. Go a little faster here.
Very nice.
Well, I don't know. I'm competing with Javier here.
All right, we did a lot.
So you
But
don't keep them all, you're supposed to pass them out.
I know. Let's see here.
Ya me la escondí.
Jay right there. Okay. So obviously anyone else can have one. But now, at least for the City of Albuquerque Executive Administration, this is what our city stands for. And so congratulations. Thank you so much. So